so many people in Lend who are doing so many wonderful, powerful things, and just hearing their stories and how they're working with their own foundations that they founded themselves. I mean, that's amazing. And so I think that from a networking perspective in the future, having that accessibility, being able to have those connections and that commonality and say, hey, remember me? We were in Lend together. Hey, I have this family that I'm working with now in this role, and I think they could really benefit from your foundation that you told me about. How can we connect further about this?
I've been able to interact with a couple of these people outside of the space of Lend, which has been really enriching in terms of how do we build communities of color, and communities that are centered around resisting are moving against violence in these interesting ways. Being able to understand some of the medical language and have the lectures and discussions from experts who are in the field are things I wouldn't have gotten otherwise, because I'm not in a medical school or a public health program. Just being confronted with ideas that weren't at the forefront of my mind has been really helpful.
It's like an extended family for me. I'm not born and raised in Minnesota, so I found some really good supports in Lend.
Having worked in the disability field for my whole career, I've largely done one-on-one work, so I don't really have that many peers that I can talk to about this type of stuff. Having kind of just a community of people that understand what I'm doing and find it exciting is huge for my confidence.
When I started Lend, I was thinking that I was going to be really fixated on the academic, more technical part, and I was pleasantly surprised that I'm way more interested in the social part. I find getting to know my peers I find it very fun and interesting, and I like making those connections.
I think it's been probably the best experience out of my all 4 years of graduate school, because I really didn't find my voice when I got in. You can feel a little bit of imposter syndrome when you're in such a high achieving profession like dentistry. And so Lend really just gave me a space to just be comfortable, be myself, and just accept my faults, but also accept anything that I can give in terms of perspective. The interdisciplinary aspect, the individual experiences of individuals themselves, and also just the way that they've structured it and the support they've given me as a graduate student is immense.
It brought in my knowledge to a lot of public policy, affecting person living with the whole disabled community as a whole. It also connects me with my fellow colleagues from different backgrounds and faculty that I will be able to point people from my support group to just in case for resources.
I'm learning how to advocate for my kid, for myself, for the whole community, and I'm learning in every corner of the disability community. That is not only the part that I know, which is autism, but there is IDD, there is a lot of, neurodevelopmental disability areas, which I didn't know before.
I feel like it's like going to, a TED Talk every evening, every Thursday evening. It's really been cool.
The project I'm doing is the ADHD co-teaching program. And so currently this is their second year piloting the program. Basically, the program is to help parents who have children who have been diagnosed with ADHD navigate parenthood with their child. It was a good experience, like considering that what I want to do in the future is a lot of parent education as well.
My research is always focused on intersectionality, so not necessarily how one particular identity is impacted, but how the assemblage of these identities creates sort of a larger relationship to these practices. And so looking at Blackness and disability, or Blackness and disability and gender, or disability and gender. And so disability has always permeated that discussion.
I'm working with a couple of groups from St. Paul and Crystal, teaching self-advocacy basics and kind of helping them understand what their rights are and kind of addressing issues that they see in their living situations.
Through the Autism Mentorship Program, we're working on a research paper, which is a virtual pilot study that's targeting and looking at individuals with autism that were a part of the program, how they were able to work well in that setting. I know a lot Clinically, I know a lot in terms of experience, but I don't know much about research and policy making. So that really drew me to Autism Mentorship Program, is because I just wanted to work on that and see what different perspectives were there.
I'm working on a policy research brief. So I'm writing one about polypharmacy, and that's when people have been over-medicated. It's very common for people with intellectual developmental disabilities to be over-medicated.
We are partnering with different organizations just to see, can we get more individuals from different backgrounds, different ethnicities to partner with LEND. Like, what are they experiencing in their community when it comes to like diagnosis or treatment?
Currently, I'm working on a project to map individual differences in the brain. So all these brain networks, right? So we have visual network, we have attention network. The size of these networks and how piece fragmented they are different. So basically the organization of these brain networks is different among people. We're looking at how that relates to differences we see in behavior and whether that maps onto differences we see in behavior.
So we're working on creating a research brief related to a specific policy issue, and then facilitating a forum on that topic. So my topic is direct support professionals who receive public assistance, and kind of just like the data related to that. Direct support professionals tend to be rather, underpaid, and they don't always receive great benefits or benefits that they can afford. And so it's just looking at that, and that's the kind of the biggest takeaway in that kind of data, and saying, recommending some policy about, we should probably be offering these professionals better benefits so that they can be doing the really important work that they're doing, supporting people with disabilities.
This is a very unique program that all people from different backgrounds can participate in. So I would really like for us who graduating now to tell people more about this unique program, because it is amazing and a lot of people need to know about this program and be able to help policymakers, support disabled people.
I also wish there was more global connections to these things, because I have been lucky enough to study in the US and get all these experiences, but entities are still very disability focused in a lot of other countries. And I would love to see kind of partnerships grow, especially with telehealth and telecommunication and all those things more globally as well.
Being a physical therapist, I come from a very ableist type of setting, and we really focus on movement. And lots of families come to me wanting their kids to walk, and I think LEND has really opened my eyes to that's not the biggest priority in people's lives, and there's lots of ways to engage in your life and your community without walking. And I think so just the concept of ableism has really changed how I practice and how I treat my patients, and I think that without LEND I wouldn't have realized just how ableist sometimes we can be.
We all could benefit from learning more on how to work with and help those with neurodevelopmental disorders, and how to also just provide more access to them across the board. I think this is a really great opportunity to be able to learn those things and also meet other people who are passionate, who then can become a part of your community and a part of your group that's going to help the patients and the people that we hope to help.
We learn through others' perspectives, others' experiences, and this is a great way to bring your life story into something amazing, and work with other people from different backgrounds.
LEND has been just such a fun place beyond the learning and training aspect, even just getting to talk about disability openly. It's not necessarily a comfortable topic for people who aren't used to talking about it. So that's just been something that beyond the academic benefit of it, it's been fun and delightful.